What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about a few things that are happening in the real estate industry that's causing quite a big problem. So unless you've been living under a rock, you know that supply and demand is pretty crazy right now, and actually getting a house is becoming a problem for a lot of people. There's three things that are really affecting that right now. So stay to the end of this video, and I'm going to give you a couple of tips that'll help you when it comes time to buying a new home in the end of 2020 going into 2021. So when the pandemic started and COVID really took into effect, a lot of the mills and lumber yards slowed production because they thought this was going to affect them in a big way, and it really did, but not in the way they intended. It's taking longer to build houses, and it's harder to get the lumber, which means prices go up. Prices going up, that automatically transfers to the consumer.
Well, that might be your problem. It's not what you like, it's the consumer.
Now you also got people working from home, obviously a lot more now. So they're making changes to their homes and adding office spaces so that they can work from home. And so there's a higher demand for the DIYer looking for supplies, as well as just the regular home builders. What we've noticed due to this rise in lumber, not just lumber, but supplies in general, is that we're seeing a lot more of these people that have been on the sidelines for a few years waiting to build a house are now looking at buying a house that they can make their own or make improvements to down the road. All these new builds are costing people so much more money now because of the shortage, and they're looking at how far can their money go. Buying a house that's already ready to go versus buying land and building and yada 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 down the road. It's a lot more cost efficient to buy a house already with land that you can, fix up a little bit. The reason these homes are still a little bit inflated is because there are more people looking at them. Instead of more people looking at new homes and older homes, you've got some of these new home buyers looking at the older homes too. So that means there's more demand on them. More demand means higher price. If you're finding any of these tips helpful, I'd love to talk to you. Leave me a comment down below, hit that like button, and let's talk sometime and see what it is you're looking for. The other thing that's really hurting us right now is the lack of inventory. They're just really in our area between that 100 and 150 range, where the new home buyers are typically looking. There just isn't any homes available, or they're not move-in ready. And being that there's a lower inventory, higher demand, you guessed it, prices. So it's not uncommon to see a lot of these houses that are listed for 145 might go for 150, 155. Now the appraisers are keeping that down right now. They're not overinflating the prices like they did back in the day. They're still staying at they're still staying in range of what things bought and sold for in that price, in that area. That's the biggest struggle we have is with new home buyers or home buyers that haven't been in the market for a little while, is getting them to understand where the market's at. And if you really want this house, we know ahead of time that it's going to be a desirable house. There's going to be multiple offers. Therefore, chances are you're going to have to go over asking price or offer something else that the seller is really wanting. The next thing that's also affecting these new home buyers is land. Prices of land have skyrocketed, and if you haven't been looking, it's everybody who has a piece of land thinks there's gold on it and thinks it's invaluable, which it is. They're not making any more of it, but they're wanting everybody to pay a premium for it. And of course, if you're looking at buying a new house and building, then you're going to pay a premium for the land as well as a premium for the house because you can't get supplies. So you're doubling up on your extra payments. And the third thing that's really affecting a lot of home buyers right now is lending. Lending has really gotten a lot tighter. We had a lot of folks that were on the verge of qualifying or working on getting qualified for homes that now put them back 6 months or a year, whatever it might be, depending on how close they were, because used to people could get qualified minimum around the 580, and we struggled getting people that were around 580 sometimes. and now it's moved up to like the minimums are around 620. Obviously higher the better. Not only your credit score, but also they're going in 2 times, maybe more, checking on your employment status, because people are getting laid off because of COVID.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
So they're checking like day before closing or a couple days before closing to make sure you still actually have a job. There's probably a few other lending criteria that have tightened up, but that's where I can connect you with a lending specialist and really help you nail down what it is you need when it comes to buying a new home. So here's a couple tips to help you when you go to look at a new house. Don't always seek out these online lenders that seem to be easy to use. They're not always the cheapest. A lot of times you won't see the fees until you get to the closing table and realize, what am I paying all this money for? Next, be flexible if you can on time-wise. Now, your lender's going to ask for a lot of paperwork, and the realtor's going to ask for paperwork to be signed. Make sure you get on the ball signing that paperwork as quick as possible and getting whatever paperwork the lender asks for to them as quick as possible. Because even a day delay might be another day delay, and then they stack up. It's amazing how quick little delays can stack up on a closing when you're trying to close as quick as possible, or in that 30 to 45 day window. I've had clients before that take 3, 4, 5 days to get something signed, and it's just like nail biting the whole time. Like, come on, we need to get this done, and then they do it again 4 or 5 times, so 4 or 5 days. And next thing you know, you're a month in and you've gotten nowhere. Since there is a lot of demand on these houses right now, don't always look for the newest listings. Look for some that's been on the market for a little while, or if you contact your agent, they might be able to get you a list of homes in the area that have expired recently. That means they were for sale and then they didn't sell for whatever reason, and now they're off the market. Maybe for a little while, maybe for a long while, but it still might be a possibility of some things that you could work out. Depends on the person's situation. But if you look at homes that have been on the market for a little while, typically they have been for a reason, either repairs or it's an odd layout. It could be any number of things, but it might work for you, and it might be able to get you a deal that way in a market where you otherwise can't. Hey, I hope you found this information helpful, and I look forward to speaking with you on the next video.